All right, testing greetings. Can you all hear me? Make sure everything is working. All right, looks like the mic is working. All right, so I'll get right into it. So this week we're going to review the estates and trusts. So we have the list of everything we look over every week, which is on estates and trusts. If you go to universitytechnicians.com, you can click on estates and trusts, and it goes through all of the curriculum of everything you would need and certain documents you'll need in order to go forward this week. So we do community civics every Sunday around 5:45 Eastern Standard Time. So you all can capture these calls or meetings every week. If you miss one, you can go back and look at the replay. And we go over live questions on purpose because we want people to ask these questions live so that we can answer the questions, whatever may be in real time, and we can show answers to it. So we may be able to show a screen, or we may be able to show a link to the document or any of those things. So as you know, I'm one of the main instructors. I instruct and I help with tax software, private banking, commerce, credit, real estate, and the e-store. Real estate and e-store is new. A lot of the things that we know about real estate is new because a lot of us just got into the understanding of what real estate is. Even myself, I just joined into understanding real estate in the last 3 to 4 years of exactly how to do it. And also an e-store is what most people should have by now. If you have a business or if you have which we call a trust, we're going to go into how today your first businesses have to be started in some format as a store. You also need to have some type of real estate so that you can maintain your store and layers of what we're talking about with commerce, credit, private banking, and software. So these are the different things that we want everybody to think about every week as we jump into this because last week we went over this already. We went over the digital folders, and these are some of the things on the list that you'll need to talk about a lot of this information, such as living revocable trust instrument, power of attorney, um, the revocable trust, and things of that sort. We're going to jump into show exactly why the EINs and all those different things that deal with the corporation aren't required first in order to do your trust. You actually need to get your trust instrument first so that you can actually have the power to do all the other steps that we talk about. So this is a place you can get to this every week. All you do is click on estates and trust. This will take you right here. If you wanted to join our room live as we are talking now, you're also able to click here. You're able to see everything in real time as well. If I refresh the screen, maybe it'll show the YouTube. Let's see right here. Yeah, here we go. So it'll show the YouTubes of both. So you'll be able to see University Technicians YouTube as well as you'll be able to see the direct YouTube that I have right now, which is Rock Wallace Lewis Temple Jr. So let's get right into some of the main things that we need to talk about today. Some of the things that we mostly don't realize is that we have to think about our new agreement that we have made. We have a new agreement, and that's going to be the main meat of the discussion today is the new agreement that we have. If you all saw the announcements talks about the new agreement, and what we say is your new trust covenant. So this is a new trust covenant using the non-corporate social security benefits. And it's very important that you see it as a non-corporate social security benefit because there is no corporation needed to get access to these, which they call the soul benefits. And I layered this on purpose with the soul because the SOLE is different from which we say our regular individual or our person or our business or this is very specific when we say your soul, SOLE. And this isn't me. This is what the law is saying. This is where you can look up everywhere and it says SOLE, and you'll be able to see this says they even call corporate soul. So you got to be careful to not be called a corporate soul too, which we went into how the corporate soul can be tied into the EIN. And this is why we discourage people to go get a corporate soul EIN, which is a sole proprietor EIN. And I know it can sound confusing when we say sole proprietor, but we're trying to help as much as possible with the details of why you don't want to jump into those layers too fast. So just for some examples today, we're going to jump right into our main discussion. and we'll get into more other things as we talk today as well. So let's get to the part and we go to our summary of what we're going to talk about today. And this is going to be talking about your signature of your trust agreement. Once you signed your trust agreement, this actually activated, which we call your trust covenant, which we're going to say that's a covenant. A covenant is an agreement. That's the word they used to use back in the days to say covenant. But today we just say agreement. Some people may even say contract. Contract is more of a corporate term. So once you get into the corporation side, you'll start to hear the word contract more. That's how you know you're in the corporate side. When you're in the trust side, you'll hear more of agreement. You'll hear more, mutual understandings and things like that because it's a trust. But when anytime that there's a contract, this is how you know there's certain provisions that if you choose to break those parts of the contract, even though it may be against you, you still have to abide by those parts of the contract, which is part of the corporation. So we do this on purpose to go through the estates and trusts. And we also get into spiritual studies because spiritual studies ties into this as well as we know about the biblical principles. And we'll go and show you why the covenant word is used in the biblical principles as well as in the world that we're in now, which we call today a regular trust agreement. So today we will discuss the revocable trust instrument, how a Schedule A is a non-UCC for a revocable living trust. So a Schedule A is a non-UCC. So when people say non-UCC, I'm going to show you all today what that means, what a non-UCC is. So a non-UCC is not part of a corporation, which is not part of the Uniform Commercial Code. That's what it means. It says non-UCC property. So I'm showing this on the screen to show you all, if you all type this in on your computer, you should be able to find out what non-UCC actually means. You can't go into theories of what other people explain what non-UCC is. Right? So it says non-UCC property refers to personal property that is not governed by the Uniform Commercial Code. That's right. So it is not governed by the UCC. That's what it means by non-uniform commercial code, and is subject to other applicable laws. That means that it's not subject to the UCC laws. It is non-UCC, so it's not subject, meaning that it doesn't fall under the UCC laws that makes it under the jurisdiction or make it subject to those laws. It includes assets located outside the United States, where a UCC financing statement cannot be filed. So it's right there. It proves that the assets are outside the United States and a UCC financing statement cannot be filed because they are already outside of the United States and there is no place where you can file it because you're not in any of the states. So that's the first things first. We're going to make sure we understand what non-UCC is. And the minute that you had signed your agreement, that I wanted to make sure you see this in the most practical sense, the minute you signed your agreement, this created your non-UCC. So the trust agreement is creating a Schedule A, and we have went over our example many times of a Schedule A and how the Schedule A looks on your trust instrument. So let's type in Schedule A just to kind of see what the internet will tell you what a Schedule A, just in case somebody types that in and you may not find the Schedule A the way we've explained the Schedule A. And it's going to be the Schedule A of a revocable trust. Let's see what pops up. All right, so this is what a Schedule A is. It actually means, and I guessed this, and I didn't even notice what it means. Now I know it for sure means this. It says schedule of assets. That's what Schedule A means. It literally means schedule of assets after what I just typed in. So there's no more breaking this down of where this is all coming from, like where all these assets coming from, where all this money's coming from. We now know the Schedule A is a schedule of assets. That means these are things that can make you money, things that are valuable, things that are very important for growth of wealth. We're going to say wealth because money can be confusing. We're going to get into why money is a totally different perspective as we begin to think about the non-corporation side. It says schedule of assets is a key part of preparing a revocable trust. That's it. It's a key part. That means that you must know this in and out when you start the trust. You can't just blindly do this and you don't know what it is. What is a Schedule A? I don't even know. Right? So that doesn't make sense. You have to know what it is. You have to know what it means. Schedule of assets. That's what it means today. It is a list of all the property you are placing in the trust. When we say you got to place all the property in the trust, that means everything has to come out of your name and has to go into the name of your trust. Now, if we're still using the same name, it's the same thing. You still have to do double work because you have to make sure they know the name that you have is now a revocable trust name. So the way you do that, you have to put revocable living trust at the end of your name. And they have to make sure they put that at the end of your name wherever the company computer has in the system. Very important that the company computer system places that at the end of your name if you use the same name. This includes real estate addresses. That means your address has to be in the trust, right? So if your address ain't in the trust, then it's not in the trust. That means the address has to be in the trust, the property, and things of that sort. The bank account numbers. That's right. So your bank account numbers have to be included in your schedule of assets. That means your sole proprietor bank account numbers, your PayPal bank account numbers, your your cash out bank account numbers, everything. Even if you got personal bank accounts, they are all schedule of assets. It's part of your personal property. That's what it says, property. Here we go. And this is the last one. It says and an inventory of household or personal items. That's right. So I've been saying this to people for a number of years. I've been saying every item that you have is valuable. I don't care if it's a shirt that looks dirty. If you throw that shirt in the washing machine, that shirt, according to the Goodwill, is worth $4 or $5, $3 to $4 to $5. That's right. That same old dirty shirt that we thought wasn't valuable. Right. But if you throw that dirty shirt in the washing machine, one of those dirty shirts is worth about $3, $4 or $5 at Goodwill. So you need to inventory all of your stuff at your house. All of your stuff. That means everything that you got. That means your clothes, your shoes, your furniture, your personal items, all of your stuff that you have that are sentimental, whatever that is. These are personal items, but you got to put a value to it so that if something happens to it, you can know how much it costs to replace it. That includes pictures because they'll say, oh, you can't replace pictures because they're sentimental. But how much does it cost if you had to go to CVS or to Walmart or something to go get a new picture? Is what we're saying. You have to evaluate those things because if you don't, they're not in your schedule of assets. So the Schedule A is usually found at the end of the trust document. That's what we did for you all so that you didn't have to do all that work. We did it on purpose so that you didn't have to think of it, right? That's why at the end, when you start looking back at this, you're like, wow, I'm so glad I did this already because I already executed my trust. And now I just got to learn how to use this trust. So the Schedule A is usually found at the end of the trust document and lists the items intended to be held in the trust. That's right. So the way we did it, we told you all to use your name. That means everything that's in your name, it should be held in the trust. And the new name that you create if you choose to create a brand new name, which you all can always create a brand new name in any time you choose in the future. Right? It doesn't matter, right? But this is the point. Your name and the new name that you choose, everything is in that trust now. So the schedule of assets is a very powerful document. I'm going to show you the IRS has already given you this power as non-corporate. And I'll get into that maybe next week because I don't want to drown us out into just the first topic that we have, which is your new covenant or your new agreement that you have created, which is the revocable living trust agreement. All right, so this is detailed to the point of where Schedule A today you now know means schedule of assets. It says, in addition, how to be a proper name holder upon taking hold of the name. We learned that the general durable power of attorney, and this will go right into some of your biblical principles, which gives you the power to stand against the corporation. That's right. So that means that all those three things I just said, you all have to have mastered those three things to even feel comfortable. Right? If you don't even feel comfortable with this stuff, you're not able to go into the corporation side yet to even try to talk to them or face them. You're not ready. So I'm being very specific and detailed to say that you instantly have already been on the private side, which is the trust side. But the minute you choose to go right back over to that corporation side, oh, you got to be ready. And we're not talking about the EINs or the IRS yet, because that is the corporation side. And I always say this, everybody. Everybody forgets. You guys forgot the IRS is a corporation. That's right. The United States Corporation is the Internal Revenue Service and all of their parties, including the Treasury. The Treasury is a corporation. Let's stop playing with ourselves. What did y'all think? Y'all thought the U.S. Treasury was all on our side? Yes, they can block your assets. They can. That's really all they do. That's why everybody never talked to them, because they've been blocking y'all assets all your life. Almost every time you dealt with the Treasury, the IRS, or these people, it was always on the bad side or the defensive side. So this is the way you get out of that defensive side. You get on the offense side by dealing with your Schedule A and understanding all the things you got held in your trust now. So that's why you have to stay on the trust side as much as possible when you're dealing with this corporation. I'll go into how you can do that. And the only way you can do this is if you're going to do these next thing I'm going to talk about. So I said, in addition, how to be a proper name holder upon taking hold of the name. It's the first step. So that means if you all haven't taken hold of your name as a name holder, you're not even able to do this. You're already done. It's already over. It doesn't matter if you have all these other things. You got the trademark, copyright, all this other stuff. You got private affidavits. It doesn't work. Let me show you why. Let's jump right into the name holder and how important the name holder is. So the name holder corporation is a corporation created to reserve the name as a corporate name for the owners of that corporation. That's right. Corporate names can serve as trademarks only if they are used as such. Otherwise, corporate names receive no protection unless otherwise dictated by the state law. So you all know about the name holder, but you all have never broken it down to understand the name holder in the most basic sense. Now, I always can give you this answer, but even if I give you the answer, you still need to know what you have. So that answer is still going to be found on your Minnesota Rule 220. You can't get around it. If you haven't fully understood that Minnesota Rule 220, then you have to keep studying that until you have shown yourself approved to understand that. That's right. People ask, well, why is it in Minnesota? Well, ask the question, why does it have birth certificate next to the Rule 220? That's the question y'all should be asking. Like, everybody's trying to be, why can't I look? I don't know why it's in Minnesota either, but all I know is I need to make sure that I have followed these rules of understanding how to take over my name. So this is very important. This is the first step. You can't even get the durable power of attorney to work until you have even properly took over the name, which is Rule 220. Talks about the birth certificates, and the register of titles is authorized upon memorials, upon outstanding certificate of title, an official birth certificate pertaining to a registered owner, said and said next certificate of title showing the date of birth and said registered owner. And is attached such birth certificate and affidavit of an affiant who states that he or she is familiar with the facts recited, stating that the party said the birth certificate said party, the owner said the title at the therefore the registered title shall treat such registered owners having attained the age of majority at date 18 years after the date of birth shown by said certificate. It's very straightforward. 18. So as soon as y'all turn age 18, you are required to take hold of your name. It's why we say the name holder. You're the name holder. And I'm going to go into biblical principles. I'm not going to go into it yet, but just going to show you how powerful this is and how very important that you all have to go through these first three layers and how they're all connected to the biblical principles, every one of them. So the name holder is just as important as the non-UCC Schedule A. Because once you became non-UCC Schedule A, your next thing is to get into taking over the name. So that's why the trust instrument had to be done first. We didn't say do your EIN first. So a lot of people still stuck on, well, what about the EIN? What about the IRS EIN? And I keep saying that is not what's first things first. So this is first things first. Have you captured your name on your birth certificate? So this is the name holder side. Now get into a biblical principle since I'm here. Then I'm going to go backwards and tell you the biblical principle for the Schedule A non-UCC, and I'll tell you the biblical principle with the revocable trust instrument. and how that's your another biblical principle as well. So let's go to the name holder biblical principle. The first name holder biblical principle tells you to do not take the name in vain. You will not be held guiltless. That's right. So the minute that you take the name in vain, you will be held guiltless, is what they're saying. I mean, you will be held guilty. I mean, you won't be held guiltless, is what I'm trying to get to. But you see the point, because they're going to use your name in this corporation because they're able to use that name now because you haven't taken hold of your name. And if you all want to find out in the Bible that they're using at the courthouse and in this Christian nation, because they said this is a Christian nation, so obviously they're going to be using the Bible against you. As you can see, it's found in Exodus. I don't know if it's chapter, is it verse 4, Exodus 20? Maybe it's verse 5 or something like that. No, it's maybe first. Uh, that's the NIV. Let's go into a different version. And some people say, why are you talking about the Bible? Well, I mean, I'm telling you, this is the United States. The United States of America is using the Bible. You should be asking them, why are they using the Bible? Don't ask us why are you talking about the Bible? You need to be asking them. So what they're doing is they're saying in Exodus 27, the court is looking at you and seeing if you have taken hold of your name, if you are now the name holder as prescribed in this rule. That's right. So according to the rule, you have to be showing that you have not misused your name. So right here, so let's look at Exodus in the King James, or I'm gonna go into another version. Let's go to your new internet. What's called a New Living Version, something like that. Modern English. Let's go to Modern English. All right, so right, it says, "You should not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold guiltless anyone who takes His name in vain." So you all remember the Lord is supposed to be connected to you and your title. So the Lord title is your name. So you're supposed to take hold of your Lord title, which is your name. Right. So the minute that you have taken the name in vain, what it says right here, taking this name in vain, you have basically, you're basically in their court system and they're able to do what they think they should do to you. And let's say they try to do it anyway and you have your name, well, it'll be harder for them now because you're not able to stand against them, right? So we're going to get into details of how you're able to stand against them because you have taken hold of your name. So let's go to another biblical principle that we talked about, which are non-UCC. You know, your non-UCC. So that's held with all your property. So your non-UCC is talking about all of your property, how it's held with Christ. You know, because now if you have the Christ or the Christ, which they say, um, connection, you're connected through Christ. This is now protecting all of your assets, all of your property that you have in trust, because remember, Christ has paid all your debts, paid all your debts, right? This is what this means. So let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. And it tells you this right here, the non-UCC. Remember, this is without the corporation. Because if you jump in the corporation, they don't really use these scriptures like that. They don't really care. But if you got it through your trust instrument, this trust instrument will make it work. Look at Exodus 20, verse 17. It tells you, you should not covet your neighbor's house. You should not covet your neighbor's wife. So there we go. So that means they can't come and try to take your house if your house is in your trust. If it's in your non-UCC, if it's in your Schedule A, right? If it's in the name of your trust, they should not covet your neighbor's house. You should not covet and take your neighbor's house. Right? How do y'all think the houses are taken? Well, they're filings against you in court. They're taking that name again, right? Remember going back to the name game? Some way, somehow, they're taking that name to court. So they won't be able to do this if you have captured your name. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. That means they can't take away and try to separate you from your wife or your spouse, right? By saying, hey, you know, we're gonna open up a support claim or we're gonna give them benefits. right? So not covet the manservant, maidservant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that's your neighbor's. That means all of his tools, all of his property, like we went over, right? The cars, the clothes, the shoes. You can't evict that stuff no more. You can't take it. You can't try to stop the servicers from working with us. We got private servicers that work with our company, that work with our property, right? You don't have jurisdiction over them, right? So there we go. This is where you can become bold that they don't have jurisdiction because they should not do these things if you are in this proper status of holding your property with God through Christ. Because that's the way it looks in their system if you want to break it down on a Christian perspective. Let's keep it simple. So yes, it is a living trust because this is a God of the living, not a God of the dead, right? Which we say the dead is the corpse. The corpse is the corporation. Let's go to the next one, your last one, which I went into how you get all this started. And I went backwards. You go to your new covenant with God through Christ. So your new covenant, as you can see, the new covenant, this is your new agreement. And you got trust agreements that's always available to you because your covenants, as you can see, let me type in covenant. You'll see covenant all throughout the biblical scriptures because you'll notice that covenants are also agreements. They're also trusts. So let me establish my trust with you. That's what that means when you see the word covenant now. And you got multiple covenants. You got a covenant, Noahic trust. That's a trust that Noah had. You got a trust that was going on between Noah, his wives, his sons, and his sons' wives. The covenants. I will establish my trust with you. So this is very detailed if you look at the biblical principles from a totally different light than from the religious standpoint of seeing this as um, just religion. This is actually a trust. So these are the trusts that you can see. Look at the Ark of the Covenant, right? The Ark of the Covenant that goes right back into those 10 commandments. Those are trust agreements that you all see with those 10, they call the 10 commandments. Those are the covenants. And then the trust was renewed once they were realizing that they had a new covenant or had a new trust agreement with their God. Now, I'm being in detail to show you all how you should be reading through this from that light because the trust agreement is going to jump you right into which we say the common law or we say the biblical principles. Let's go into some more before I get into more of these biblical principles. Let's go into some more details of what may seem different for us until we get to this part. So I went over this part to show you about the name holder and the corporation law and the legal definition of that. And I also wanted to show you how you can start to look at those things from certain offices. So this is the office that I need you all to start thinking of, and that is the Office of Authentications, right? So because you have to authenticate that name to make sure that name is authentic. And we understand the authentication process is something that most people are not privy to, and we will go into explain it in detail today. So all the authentication process is that you will receive a document that is authenticated to be outside of the United States. And they have the 1961 covenant that they had with the Hague Convention. And some of us know about this Hague Convention thing, but I'm going to show and break it down for you all today. So the people who are non-Hague, this is what you're looking to be in part of the non-Hague. And the non-Hague is what keeps you outside of that, what they call the jurisdiction of what you see the countries that are highlighted. So it's all the countries that look like they are like italicized or kind of on the out, italicized like Barbados, Bahamas, and all these different. These are part of the non-Hague. Now let's look at Jamaica. Jamaica was one of the ones that most people chose because they got their independence from the British. And as we know, the Jamaicans, they speak English. As you can see, Jamaica is one of the ones that most people have used from what in the past, if you choose to use that country in the part of placing yourself as part of the non-Hague. And there are other countries like Liberia, other countries outside of the United States. But just for our region, which we say if you're in the United States on this side of the globe, Jamaica would probably fit in your best option based upon what we found so far on this chart. Now, as you can see, this right here is an apostille certificate. you need to get this apostille certificate through your state. That's how this works. So your state puts an apostille on your document first. Once you get that certified through your state, then you know that it's official certified document, right? And you'll see the notary information that'll be on there and everything. So you get it certified by the state. This is where you see this information goes in that. So it tells you once they get it certified by the state, this is where they want you to go ahead and send all those things. These are some of the clerks that deal with all of these authentications. So that means every single clerk in the United States deals with this. As you can see, I'm going through every country, every state that has all this information. All right, so let's go back. I just want to show you all where this is coming from because some people say they didn't show where this is at. I don't see it. So then once you get it authenticated or apostille from your state, you're going to take it over here to the federal side and you're going to update it and send it to your federal official, your U.S. consular officer, or your foreign consul registered with the United States State Office of Protocol, military notary, or judge advocate. There we go. This is your documents that are certifying your information here, and you will be able to submit your requests with these documents. And this document that they want you to do is something called the DS 4194. That's what it's called, Form DS 4194. And fees, which are $20 per document, you would go ahead and send that money order. So you need to do a money order. As we went over, if you're mailing your request, pay by money order, check or money order, make them payable to United States Department of State. So the United States Department of State, you want to go ahead and get that money order to place it in there when you mail that document. Here's your form. As I click on it, I'm going through all the answers for you all so you are not confused. You should know exactly what form to fill out. This is your authentication form that you want to fill out. As you can see, this is it right here. Obviously, you won't be able to walk in unless you're actually in Washington, D.C. or Sterling, Virginia. This is your location. But for the most part, we tell you to mail it because it's a lot easier for you to mail it. Here's information right here. You'll be able to fill this out, fill it out regular, like you would fill out on your birth certificate. Because remember, you're going to authenticate. You're going to be shown as authentic in the system now, since you have your birth certificate in your hand. You'll be able to type this in right here. Also, you'll see the country that you want to use the outside use right here. They tell you to type it. So I'm going to give you all this answer too. Just to kind of make it easier for you. So you say, where do I type it? You put document type. You can put birth certificate. All right. And the number of documents, you can put one. If you have 2 or 3 birth certificates, you want to do the whole family, then just put all of those family documents into one envelope and you'll be able to get all that done in one time. But you do got to put that money in. So that'll be 5. If you do 4 times 20, that'll be $80, right? So that's your processing fee for that. If you just do one of them, as we can see, that'll just be $20. So you got to fill this out. They expect you to know how to fill this out. So when you fill this out and you turn it in, it'll go through a lot faster, easier, and seamless. So that's it. Just wanted to show you this part of connecting you to your authentication of your name, because your name has to be shown as authentic. This is the state that I'm in. So I would go through my Secretary of State that I'm in and I would get that apostille. So they have that service available right here. So look at that. See that right there? It says apostille and notarial certification. Just click here because I want people to make sure you know where to go, what office to go when you're making sure that you are authentic and you're making sure your name is not being used in vain anymore, because you're not just taking your name in vain. You're taking it a lot more serious. You're looking at your name and you're saying, I'm now the name holder, right? So that's why this is very important that you do these in layers. So as we know, this is part of our courses that we do in level 1, level 2, and level 3. But I'm giving you all some of the levels today just to kind of show you where this is coming from. So you got your apostille notarial certification. So you would fill this out first. Once you fill this out first, this will then give you the certification to fill out the DS form right here. So you got to do both. You got to do this one and you also got to do this one. All right, so this is very simple. Some people may have done this already. Some people may not. But this is why you want to do this way so that you can get the practice, you can understand it as you move forward with maintaining your name. All right, so that concludes our segment on the name. And the name is very important. This is before you enter into United States and start to do back business with the corporation. You start dealing with the banking system. You start dealing with the IRS or any of this stuff. We want you to make sure that you start to see yourself and your name as very important, that you are now age of majority. You're now doing business. Next, how do I get a certified copy of my U.S. birth certificate? Because that's what we're doing this for. We want you to get a certified copy of a U.S. birth certificate. And that's usually something that you should have already. It's a regular birth certificate. It usually is always certified copy. When you got the blue form, which they say the blue form, or some states have different colors, a little bit light blue and so on. So you contact your birth state or territory vital records office. So you can go to your county, go to your state. You can type in everything here. This is, as we went over, this is where all your statistics are coming from, the CDC. So a lot of us didn't know the CDC is over all birth certificates. That's correct. The Center for Disease Control. That is correct. And so don't sleep on this. This is not something that you want to think that you want to keep the CDC over your stuff, right? By you not actually obtaining it, or at least um, receiving something, right? It's very important that you all receive the documentations that you need to prove that you are living. So as you can see, the links are provided for everybody in every territory or state in United States. So they give us no excuse, because some people say, well, I can't get my birth certificate. They won't let me get it. Well, guess what? You're going to have to do more work and figure out a way to get that birth certificate. Right? They got all your territories here. They got American Samoa, they got Guam, Northern Marianas, got Puerto Rico. If you're born in Puerto Rico, it's a state. The VI, the Virgin Islands. That's right. So Virgin Islands. Get your birth certificate from the islands. And you have obviously all our other states that we know that we're in right now. This is very important because the CDC is in charge of this vital statistics. You all thought it was the vital statistics. No, it was actually the um, Center for Disease Control. And look, it's an official website of the United States government. Now you're entering into their corporation because they have taken your name, placed it in the corporation through the birth certificate, through the certificate of live birth. And next, they're going to create something. Now I'm going to talk about as we go forward. They're going to start creating more things so they can get your money. So let me go into the next part to kind of go into some segues of what I was talking about, the general durable power of attorney, and how this is also just as important as you begin to get those documents, and how you have been given power. All right, so how do I have power? Why do I have the authority to do all this stuff now? Because once again, you just turned 18, and I already explained this to you. You should be a name holder, because all this trying to talk to the IRS and trying to talk to the bank and trying to get lines of credit and getting money, you may not be ready for that yet, because you haven't done layers to your non-corporation self before you went into the corporation again. So where's your biblical principle giving you the power and authority to feel comfortable to do all this stuff? Well, you got Luke chapter 10, verse 19. This is where this is coming from. Luke chapter 10, 19. And remember, we talked about how you do all this stuff through Christ. If you're not doing it through Christ, if you don't actually have a full, you don't even have to be in the same religion. You don't have to, you can be a Muslim and do it through Christ. You can be a person who's in another country who don't even speak the same languages and still do it through Christ, because it says it was for the whole world. It didn't say it was for specific religions or specific people. It was for all people to utilize all these powers that you can do with authority. Remember, we talked about the authority just a moment ago. Speaking of your authority through your authentication. So let's get back into showing this authority is coming through your authentications. All right. So your authentication services, as well as you proving that you have this authenticated name, or you have an authentic name, this will help you have more power to understand all these things, which is included with you having your general rules of practice with your birth certificate. So you would want to get all these things in your hand, because you would think more and have more power if you had them in your hand. So look at Luke chapter 10, verse 19, your modern English version. It tells you, look, I give you authority. So that means that Christ gave you authority. That means that he said that whatever I do, you shall do too. This is where you see him saying these things, right? So some people may think that, oh, Jesus Christ has to come back in order for me to get this done. Well, according to this book right here, Luke 10:19, it doesn't say Jesus Christ, Yeshua, or whatever name we choose to go by. Um, doesn't have to come back to give you authority. You already have authority according to this right here. It says, "Look, I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy." So that means all the power of attorney of the adversaries, because you know the word enemy in our languages it also means adversarial. So all the power of the adversarial forces, which we know the enemy can be translated as your opponent as well. That's why we say you all should be on offense now. Once you do this, you're on offense. You're not on defense anymore. Because the minute you stay on defense, you're still stuck in the corporate side of, and you're trying to face the corporation in the way that doesn't work. So you can't face the corporation without the trust, right? You can't face them without the trust. It's very important that you all see this from the trust side as a non-corporation. And it says, nothing shall by any means hurt you. That means you're not going to get hurt. They can't touch you at that point, as in hurt you, because you're on offense. You're winning. You know, you're pushing through. You're not sitting there waiting to get hit. That's how we say on, if you're on defense, you're waiting to get hit. You're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting for something to go wrong, right? I tried to do this. It didn't go through. I went to talk to the lady. She said, I can't do it. I'm telling you, these things right here are going to make you feel discouraged. If you keep going to go talk to somebody and then you say, hey, is it okay for me to put my trust, to use my trust? Like, come on. What do you think they're going to say? They're the enemy. They're the adversary. They're going to be like, you know what? No, no, it's not okay to use your trust. Matter of fact, what is a trust? This is hilarious, but it's true. I know you all try. It's funny, but it's real. They're gonna start playing dumb on you. Like, wait, what is a trust? Right. So your goal is to have authority. Don't go in there with not having no authority. So I'm giving y'all some biblical principles so this can be a little bit more effective. All right, because grandma and granddaddy may have to use the Bible. That's right. We may have to use the Bible. Right. So this is detailed to show you all why this is important and how this is going to take you out of this CDC. Right. So we see this CDC is, the Center for Disease Control. So we're not trying to be under no disease control with our vital statistics. Okay. So this is detailed. So come out of this power, have power over the CDC, get power over them. And we'll say the power of attorney is detailed to almost every office you can think about. Every office of the United States Corporation and all therein. All right, so this is going to be the big nitty gritty one that I know can take me a little bit longer to explain because I like to go through this one a lot slower. But this is the one everybody wants to get into, which is I understand and I know everybody needs it. But I also know that you need to make sure you know what it is first before you say you need something. And that's going to be dealing with your treasury. That's right. So we're going straight into your treasury. And you all haven't even entered into the corporation side yet. I'm still telling you, this is the non-corporate side. This is still the non-corporate side. This is the Treasury Direct. How many of us have a Treasury Direct account? Right? We're not talking about the one that you're trying to liquidate all the bonds that you have in the corporation. We're just saying, hey, do you have the non-corporate Treasury Direct account? So let's go on to open a new account and give you an example how that looks. And this will give us details of how you're supposed to think about a non-corporate Treasury Direct account. So as you can see, it just takes 3 steps to open a Treasury Direct account. You got your tax identification number that shows your SSN or EIN. So now we're talking about the EIN, right? So now it makes sense to get an EIN because now I'm able to enter and use the Treasury Direct. Right, so I'm not saying get your EIN and go straight to the bank and now you're back at a bank. We're saying the Treasury. Like, what did you go to the Treasury at? So step 2 says you can choose the SSN or an EIN. So this would be the time that you would begin to think of getting an EIN for your trust for the treasury. Now, as you go into apply, I'm not going to go through details of this. We already know the answers that you don't choose. So I'm going to show you that you do not choose. As we know, if you're not going to be in the SSN anymore and you're not SSNing, you won't choose the individual side. So if you already been told to do the individual account to liquidate all of your bonds, you're already on the wrong side. There's no way you can hold all those bonding and all those liquid bonds and liquidity on the individual side. Because guess what? They're going to just still have jurisdiction over it. The them who have power of attorney. That's why they encourage you to go to individual side. That's right. I mean, I'm just showing you all how there's other answers that you want to go into. So don't choose this first one. Go straight to the one that makes sense to you, right? So let's scroll all the way down to the last answer. So I'm just going to jump straight to the chase and not give you all this confusion. As you can see, the last answer says trust. Now it makes sense to have the trust EIN. So I'm walking through. Everybody says, walk me through step by step. I just walked you through step by step. And this step shows you that you should have your trust EIN so that you can now complete this step, which is to create, as we know, the Treasury Direct account. All right. And they're going to ask you for the same information on that CP 575, which is the IRS document that they gave you when you got it downloaded on their website, the corporation site, right? And they want you to write the entity name exactly as you see it on the document. They want you to give your account name, want you to create a brand new name, whatever you need to do. And we tell you to use the EIN right here. So there is no social. There's no social. You use the EIN, entity taxpayer identification number. And then make sure it matches the address that's on your document. So if you put the wrong address on the document, it's not going to go through. It's going to show the entity street address is not matching what you said you had on your document. So you must match all the information that's on your trust document that you got from the EIN. I'm sorry, that you got from the IRS as the EIN to put on this right here. This is where you get your account manager information. This is where you then put your social. So I'm showing you this is the layers that most people are not thinking, but you actually don't even realize that this is proving that you're the fiduciary and it's placing you on the sole proprietor side because it says account manager. Account manager. So this is proving that you're the trustee of the trust. Yes, they will need the driver's license or state ID number because you can't get the cash until you get access to, which we're going to go into details to show how the state ID was a way to cash out your bank. As you can know, the account contact information is here, the phone, home, email address, retype your email, mailing address. And the last one that most people won't get past is this one because the banking course goes through this detail right here, the bank name, routing number, account number. So you need to have the name of your bank, which is the same name as your sole proprietor. So yes, this would be the one part that you must do and complete as we get into walk into our banking system. So now I know that you can't get to this part, entity bank information, till you all have learned how to deal with money. All right, so now money is going to be the answer to all things. Just for those who are so upset about money, you can't be mad at money. If you're mad at money, then money is going to be mad at you. That's how it works. Ain't nothing wrong with money. The only problem is you all have been thinking about money the wrong way. And I'm going to go into how the money is the postal, your own bank, your barter system, and your trade system. That is your money, right? We also got credit on here too. So we got credit also listed as part of your money. But you all are still thinking about something else. And I'm going to go and prove to you today that this is what you're thinking money is. And I'm going to tell you this is not money. And I must show you on the screen to prove that this is not money. Here we go. So this is coming right from the same uh, United States government. And I'm going straight to your Bureau of the, no, what is it called? The Bureau of Engraving and Printing right here. Here's your money that you all have thought that this is money. This isn't money. These are Federal Reserve notes that have been sent to claim as money. right? These are just notes that are sitting there until you convert it out back into your credit. That's what they all supposed to be used as. They're supposed to be converted into credit, but everyone keeps holding on to them as if you're just like waiting for the end of the world to happen or something. Like I'm going to hold on to this $100 bill for a rainy day or something in case something happened. But this was never the intention of the government. They never wanted us to even do this. And keep in mind, this is an official website. So if people say, where are you getting this information? Look, it's an official website of the United States government. That's right, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. So you all should know this in and out if you choose to enter into their corporation and start doing business. Right. So all of us got to, at some point, you got to enter and do business with these people. So you make sure you understand and know how to do it. So I explained to you your way to do this, and money is the answer to all things. Ecclesiastes chapter 10:19 will be our biblical principle. So let me go to that first to prove to you that some people may say, well, what do you mean money? How is money the answer to all things? That don't make no sense. So you saying the love of money, you love money? No, no, no. We never said love money. We never said the love of money. We just told you that money is the answer to all things. So let me go to your biblical principle to prove that what I said is already there. And I have it in a modern English version. And I wanted to make it look more easier for our English today. And you see it right here. It says they make feasts for laughter and wine gladdens life. That means that wine and, feasts. It says, but money resolves everything right there. This is the biblical principle of resolving everything. I didn't say by myself that it resolves everything. This is what the biblical principle proves to us. Money. Money resolves everything. You can almost think about every situation you're dealing with in some format. If you use the money correctly, it will resolve the problem. And more likely will. I even test this out with my own children. It works. It's all about how you convert the money, which we'll get into details of how you all are supposed to be converting the money, not sitting there holding on to the $100 bill in your wallet, right? So that $100 bill is just sitting there, or the cash is sitting on that bank account, and we just sitting there holding on cash, right? Which we call cash. Cash isn't money, by the way. Cash is just cash, which they say is dollars. And anyway, these are all terms that we've created in our brain over time. This is before I was even born. My grandparents, my mom, they were dealing with this right here. This what we call money today. All right, so let's go into what this is and how this money right here comes to life when it gets ready to go into your bank. That's right, because this is before you all got into the corporation side, that this is prior to the corporation. Here we go. Let's shop online. Let's see if you all want to get some uncut currency. Let's say you don't want to go through the bank system. You can go ahead and grab your uncut currency right here. They ain't playing around with y'all. You go your $5 notes, go ahead and grab a whole sheet of $5 if you want to cut it up with your own scissors. Okay. The bank does a service for you. The bank, they got their cut machines back there. They gonna cut it up for you, make it look good. Spread it out the ATM machine. This is a service, right? Now y'all starting to see why the bank is a servicer. Look at this. Cash. Money. This is the money. This is what we call money, right? But this isn't really what it was started off. This is the corporation gave, here you go, right here, $5. You can grab a whole 5 note sheet right here. Pre-cut, look like it's pre-cut for you right here for $50.50. There you go. So people are like, I need some money. Go ahead and grab some money. I mean, this don't make sense now. It doesn't seem like money no more, does it? It almost seems like, are you telling me I gotta buy money to use money? What the heck? I gotta buy money. That's right. This because this was never money, you all. I'm going into details to prove this, how you're supposed to think of money a totally different way when you're on the trust side. You're not supposed to think of this as being money to you anymore. This is something I get, and I'm trying to get it out my hand as soon as possible. I don't even keep it in my bank account. Why am I holding on to this? I know I'm talking to somebody tonight because this is I have to show you where this is coming from. All your coins. There you go. You go to your dollar coin right here. Look, they got the new one now. They got the new quarters coming out for y'all. New 25 cent. Keep playing with it. They gonna keep coming out with more coins. And guess what? Some of these coins are worth more than y'all think. Let me have one of these coins and it's a gold coin. Look, let me go and y'all play with it. Let me show you where if I grab one of these gold coins, I got way more money than all y'all with y'all cash, y'all sitting in y'all bank account. We keep playing around because the United States government already gave you all the answers of where you can get everything at. If you're talking about getting access to money. Look at this right here. Look, $7,000. A gold set, 4 coins. Brother Wallace, how is that 7,000? Look, this is the United States government prior to y'all even getting into their corporation bank. What if I went to the bank and I said, hey, you all, I have American Eagle 2024 gold proof 4 coin set. What can you do for me? Now you're seeing how I'm bartering now, how I'm starting to trade and negotiate with these people. Hey, I want to get a secured account and I also want to get an unsecured account with these coins. Mm. You guys just gave y'all a whole answer right there. I want to go and grab a secured and an unsecured account. Just that fast. Cash, money, all the stuff that everybody's trying to get. You're trying to get the credit cards. You want to get the cars, the houses. Then they say you must buy your house with gold and silver. Why are you guys buying houses with Federal Reserve notes and the bank? Come on now. How is the bank going to buy your house for you? Guess what the bank probably going to do? They're going to probably take your cash. They're going to probably come and buy some of these commodities that they got on this website. And now they finna make some more money off your money. If you want to play around saying that's money. Okay, so I'm showing you all where this is coming from. We say we got to rethink money and rethink how we think about a bank. Because the minute that you buy any of these things, you automatically are a bank. Even if you go to the pawn shop, I'm just giving y'all some answer secrets today. Go to the pawn shop and go buy a silver or gold coin. You instantly are a bank now. Every day you sit around with that in your hand, you are a bank. You're now able to barter, trade, and so on. This is the best way to start for the trust. Fund your trust with the United States Mint. All right, so now I went over money just to kind of go into that. But anybody have any questions, comments, or shares so far? Because we don't want to lose anybody on money because money can sometimes be a difficult topic to understand. That's right. Let me go ahead and get in and show some of them hundreds. All right, so let's show some of them hundreds because that's the one that everybody trying to grab. They want to grab the bag and they want that bag to be full with $100 bills. That's the game right now, right? So let's shop. Let's see if we can shop for some of the here we go. Paper. See, look at that. They got paper way over here on the bottom. They don't even see it as valuable as you all think it is. Look how far paper is over here. Paper currency. Let's go and look at 100 to $250. Look at that. They got your $2 bills, you got your $10 bills. Now y'all seeing bills different now, right? Where's $100? It's only showing 6 of 6. It's 100 to 250, 250 and up. There we go. There we go. Here go your $100 right here. $100 phone note right here. It'll cost you extra money just because you look, it's unavailable because they've been buying up these notes because y'all been grabbing them y'all been putting y'all money at the bank. The bank been buying them up because they got to fill up those ATMs. Y'all know that, right? Where you think the ATM getting money from? It's not even available. We got so much cash out here that they got to go and keep buying more cash. Anyway, so that's this is an example of just some of the cut $100 notes. Let's go to another example of a $100 note. Here you go, right here. So this is your $100 note right here, currently unavailable. So $100 notes ain't available right now for you to purchase right now. This is paper currency because they're making more money off y'all paper currency, because they're able to get you all to keep putting back in this paper currency while they trade it out and get higher value items and assets, which we'll talk about why your schedule of assets is supposed to be created with your connections with your value that you have with money. And like I said, this isn't money. These are Federal Reserve notes. As you can see, they don't say money, they say note sheet. If this was money, they would have said money sheet. It's uncut currency. So this is United States currency. Don't get me wrong, but this is United States currency. This is not money. So I'm not here to confuse y'all. I'm just trying to show you what I'm saying as I'm showing this. Because some people say, "Oh, you telling me this ain't no money, man." But I mean, shoot, what you expect me to do? I gotta pay my bills. I gotta pay some stuff. This is money. And like I said, you can break it back down like that, but that's the corporation mindset. We're back. We're on the trust side right now. We're showing you before you enter the corporation. This is what you should be thinking about and thinking like before you enter back into the corporation. All right. So these are your coin programs. Just in case you all need to look back at this, this is your United States Mint government shop right here. And I also went over how you have your Treasury Direct account. And that is important that you do that prior to entering into the corporation also. Because remember, the bank is the corporation, which we're going to show you that the bank is a corporation. All right, so this is my last part of it right here. We're going to talk about your words of life, affirmations, your connections to God or to the good. And this is gone once again through Christ, which you say your advocate. And this is your God relationship because your trust is connected to God because God's law versus corporate law. Corporate law is not God's law. Once you get into common law, which I'll pull up on the screen real quick to show how common law is the highest law, still to this day on the land is still recognized. Do we know that Florida statute? Where's that statute that pulls it up? Common law. Okay, got it. So Florida statute 2.01. Let's see what pops up. Here we go. So we got the Florida statute 2.01. I'm gonna make sure I find it. You all can probably find this in your statute or your locations of your law where this is found too. Okay, here we go. So this is one of the statutes is going as far as 2024, and nothing has been repealed to this very day. And this is found. This is the common law. So I wanted to make sure we all see the common law side that some of us may not understand is that this is common law. So common law enforce the common and statute laws of England, which are of a general and not a local nature, with the exception hereafter mentioned, down to the 4th day of July, 1776, are declared to be of force in this state. Here we go. I mean, that's more than enough words to tell you right here if you're in court. So if I read this in court and I say, hey, my revocable trust is in force in this state, then I should be able to use this as this force that's in this state that we talked about earlier, your power of attorney. Provided the said statutes and common law be not inconsistent with the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the acts of the legislators of this state. That's right. So the inconsistencies can't be inconsistent. If I'm able to use God's law, I'm able to use this law of God, which is common law. Let's go into another one. Some of us may need some House joint resolutions, or we may need the House. So let's go to public law. What is it? 97 280. I think I remember. 97280. Here we go. So this will be something that you all can use from congress.gov. Like we say, we like to show you all the receipts and where they're coming from. So congress.gov tells you about you can use the Bible or use biblical principles for your trust. And they're showing that this is a fact. This was put into law back in October 4th, 1982. And it's a House Joint Resolution. Like they say, the HJR, right? So this is your HJR. HJR 97280. It says, whereas the Bible, the Word of God, has made a unique contribution in shaping the United States as a distinctive and blessed nation and people. There we go. So that shows you the Bible is automatically used in their courts as well as their corporations. They're using the Bible. Whereas deeply held religious convictions springing from the Holy Scriptures led to the early settlement of our nation. That's right, your settlers, your pilgrims, all these people who have adopted into the nation of which they say Christ, right? So they say you are Christ, when you're coming into the Christhood of a Christian. It says, whereas biblical teachings inspired concepts of civil government that are contained in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. That's right. So it just told you all that these same concepts, the same understandings, they received them from biblical principles, biblical teachings. So they wrote all these statutes, these laws, Declaration of Independence, and constitutions through biblical teachings. Whereas many of our great national leaders among the presidents, Washington, Jackson, Lincoln, and Wilson, pay tribute to the surpassing influence of the Bible in our country's development, as in the words of President Jackson, that the Bible is the rock of which our republic rests. Whereas the history of our nation clearly illustrates the value of voluntary applying the teachings of the scriptures in the lives of individuals, families, and societies, right there. So that goes, the Bible scriptures are being used on individuals. We're also able to use the biblical principles for our families, such as our family offices and our societies. Whereas his nation now faces great challenges that will test this nation as it has never been tested before. And whereas the renewing our knowledge of faith in God through Holy Scripture can strengthen us as a nation and a people. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that the President is authorized and requested to designate 1983 as a national year of the Bible in recognition of both the formative influence of the Bible has been for our nation and our national need to study and apply the teachings of the Holy Scriptures. Here we go. That's pretty much a mouthful right there. It's telling us the need to study. And you have to apply them because this is coming from your Congress now, right? This is straight out of the mouth of the government. So we're going to go right back into say why is the government saying this stuff right here? Well, the government is telling you that the biblical principles are designed throughout all the laws that we're dealing with. So all the laws, all of your relationships, your affirmations have to be connecting you to God, connecting you to your trust agreement again. So that goes back to your trust instrument, your trust agreement, and things of that sort. That's why we focus on these things, because the trust takes you into all those ways that you need to be taken into, especially if it's on the common law. And that's important that the common law and certain statutes declared in force is seen and read through certain laws that you all may see in your state. So find this in your state. It may be something similar wherever you are, but in Florida, we see is found exactly in our Title 1 and Chapter 2, which includes, which we say, the common law. All right, so I think I went over mostly everything up to this point, and now I'm going to conclude us out with the relationship, which we say the God relationship. And then last, we got your biblical principles of how you're supposed to jump into real estate, which we see that a lot of us have not understood the real estate. But before we get into that, we know that the money is something that I needed to discover and to show more details of. So let's go into what if I, Brother Wallace, have already these banks and stuff. I'm already in the corporation. What do I do now? Well, that's fine. If you're already in a corporation, what you do with your money is you're going to learn how to deal with the postal. You're going to learn how to deal with the postal. Then we're going to show you how to eventually get into creating your own bank. Because once you have your own bank open through your name, This will allow you to do the barter and the trade, which we say that that is where people are jumping into the 1099B. So let's get into the post office, the United States Postal Service. So USPS.com. This is something that I've been going over and over again because the United States Postal Service pretty much is the same thing that has been the same way since the beginning. It's never said that you can never use this way of paying anything. And I actually recently just did this again. I didn't even know that it was just that easy. Right. So once you get into UnitedStatesPostalService.com, you're going to see that they have given you a whole listing of everything that you can do when you deal with money. So the one that I want you all to remember and focus on at all times is always going to be, which we call, here it goes, right here, the money orders, right here. So money, this is where you're actually going to have money. So if you have never had money before, this is where you get your money. And I wanted to show this because a lot of people still kind of stuck on, which we call the Federal Reserve notes. We thought that that was money. As we can see, that is not technically money, but a lot of us are um, still dealing with this right here. We still have been sold. We've seen TV, music videos. We've seen actors, and we've seen all these things in movies. We see this as money, right? But we clearly see today that you can go and buy this money, and it is basically printed out in this format that we see. But let's get to the real money. The real money is going right into this post office that I just went into just to show you how the post office is where you get your money. All right. I know it. Look, if our grandparents had to tell us the same stuff, they would have said it all over the same way they could have said it to us again. So that means even if you use the post office, you can use your debit card to get money. So that means your regular bank, your personal bank account, you can use this to go buy your money order. Let's read through this. Sending money orders. That means money. You're ordering money, right? You're getting money so that this can be utilized as an alternative to cash. Let me read what it says. It says, when sending money by mail, use money orders as a safe alternative to cash. Look, it's safe. It's safer than cash and personal checks. So that means even if y'all got personal checks, money orders are way more valuable and more effective than personal checks. United States Postal Service, money orders are affordable, widely accepted, and never expire. Look at that. That's pretty bold. They never, ever expire. All right, so I can go buy a post office money order and that thing will be ready next 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So I'm safe to have this money order. But if I'm trying to cash out, now if I'm trying to get some cash, this is not going to work out as well as I think when I'm trying to go grab some cash. It says your money order receipt will help you track your payment and show proof of value. Here we go. There goes that proof of value that people be saying POV. There's your proof of value right here. In case the money order gets lost, stolen, or damaged. That means if something happens to it, it gets lost. You got your proof of value document right here. You got your receipt. You got those numbers. You got all that stuff ready to go. And you can check your money order status and see what has gone on with it, if it's been used, and all that stuff. This is where your banking system comes in privately again, where you are now a private banking system through your name, right? This is prior to y'all even getting into that bank account that we all keep trying to notoriously get in and go talk to Bank of America, to talk to Chase Bank, to talk to all these bankers when you're not even ready. We're not even ready because we haven't even done this yet, which is actually have a money order that we're using to pay our bills. And I know this is simple. It doesn't matter if you are still trying to get and learn this whole game. This ain't stopping you from going to United States Postal Service and go grab a money order to pay something. You don't gotta have a, I mean, you can have a trust in place or you don't have to have a trust in place. You still can go buy a money order. So this is the beginning of the money, of how you can begin to renew your mind and to renew your ways of thinking about money. And money is going to be very important for you as you begin to see how money answers all things, dealing with the postal, dealing with your private banking, dealing with your bartering, and dealing with your trade. All right, so let's closing out from that. And this will be concluding for this week on what I wanted to speak on, dealing with all of our, um, which we say keeps you non-corporate. And this takes you out of the corporation because the corporation is what's causing us to get off balance and to fail. Until we've learned how to live without the corporation, we're still going to be dealing with um, failures in the corporation. All right, so next we will learn how money is not Federal Reserve notes and how money is the answer to all things according to biblical principles. This includes postal bank, barter and trade. And lastly, we are going to deal with God's relationship and how the affirmations and words that we use in our life connects us to our trust and to our businesses that we are to maintain. So if you have businesses, you have families, you have offices, guess what you have now? You have a network. So this is important for you all. And this is the last part I'll talk about how you're not just sitting around just thinking you're going to cash out on some stuff so that you can stay the same way. Like, so if you're here and you're thinking like this and you're listening and you're like, hey, all I'm trying to do, man, just grab this check from the treasury and I'm good. That's all I need is this check. And then all I'm going to do is use that and I'm just going to be back where I need to be. That right there is not going to get you where you need to be because that's not the answer. There's more answers after you get the check. And we went into this because we're not even talking about the treasury check yet. We're just talking about how you all are utilizing connections or communicating with the corporation. So if you're communicating with the corporation a certain way, then you got to make sure that your communication is on the business level. So you're going to be updating their corporation system, as we know, with your 1040. And that 1040 will get you updated in their system the correct way. Once you learn that we've said in multiple videos prior that you are a sole proprietorship and you're supposed to always operate and know that you're a sole proprietorship. And by doing this, you automatically are a business, right? That you are operating by yourself. So you are operating a business by yourself. You don't need to go and find a whole bunch of people. You just need to go find a good network. That's what we're going to talk about right here. And this is coming from Forbes because Forbes is a good reputable, um, I guess, article, places that deal with people who are good entrepreneurs who are actually trying to start a business and use a business. So the importance of a business network and how to build a strong one is what this article went into. And I'm just going to skim through this a little bit to show you some of the main points of why it's important and why you need to think about this for your trust entities as well as your family office. So here we go. It says many business owners don't consider networking as important when they just start their business. In doing so, they fail to realize that having a strong network is extremely important for setting up the base for a successful business. That's right. So that means if you got a trust, then you need to have a network. Whether it's people that you already have in your household, that's your network. That's your first network. If it's people that you want to connect in your community, that's part of your network. You got to figure out a way to put names in your network. And it needs to be a strong network. It doesn't need to be something where you're just by yourself and you are supposedly maintaining a trust. How can you maintain a trust and it's only you? You have to find other people who you can trust or who you can have a relationship with, which is what we call a business relationship. If you're not sure how that can happen, here are a few ways you can benefit from having a strong business network. Number one, generate leads. That's your first thing first. So some of us are sitting on our business ideas, but we don't have no leads. You don't have no contacts. You don't have no people who you can talk to or contact. It's very important that you all begin to figure out how you don't do it like a corporation does it. Corporations, they want you to get out there and sell like how they train you in their corporate way to do that. You're networking like a trust now. So you just gain casual leads through talking and explaining things. You're building a relationship with people on a trust side. How this is done. Networking is nothing but building professional relationships and creating relevant contacts that can help you achieve your long-term goals. When you have a good network of contacts, it becomes much easier to generate leads and referrals for your business. There we go. So that means that all those people y'all got on your phone should be a good network of contacts. If they're not, y'all need to start erasing some numbers and placing them somewhere else. Like if they're not a good network of contact for you, for your trust or for your business, then write them down in a book where you can call them at a certain time for like family, friends, or neighbors. But if you want to deal with your professional business and your trust, you taking it serious, make sure your phone numbers in your phone are people that you feel are good for your network. And these are leads, by the way. So your phone contacts that you have on your phone are considered leads. Two, build contacts for partnerships and joint ventures. That means you may find some new people that already got business going on. You want to be able to partner with them. You want to do joint ventures. You want everybody to benefit. So if I work with anybody, I want everybody to benefit and I want to benefit too. Right. So there should be no one side benefit. One person getting all the stuff and then the other person gets little or nothing. This is why you build contacts with partnerships and people who are looking to help build your trust with you. But if they're still questioning the trust, if they still feel like it ain't important to them and they don't really want to do their own trust or they don't want to build their own contacts, then they're not a person that you would put a strong business network. You wouldn't put that person in a strong business network. They're more in the weak side because they still got to strengthen themselves a little bit more so they can be able to do a joint venture or to be able to do a partnership. Next, you said stay informed about industry trends. That means all your trends that's out nowadays, you got to stay up to date. And I already went over this. I said that you all should have at least um, which we call today, it should be a page. Let me see what this says right here. You should at least have a domain, a page, and merchant service designed for offering professional products, services in a matter of days. Now we do this because university technicians, we're a technology company, so we have the ability to do all these things. We know how to do repairs on electronics, we know how to do services for electronics, and we also are able to help you build your site, get your domains, deal with all of your which they call professional online presence. So this is business. So if you're not up to date, even if you have a trust, then you're behind and you don't have a good network because the good network is when you stay up to date with the trends and the news that the businesses that all around you are having to do. It's like, for instance, Walmart. Walmart didn't have it online where you can just go and pick up stuff and sit in your car and you can come out. They updated that. So they stayed up to date. And what they did, they made it easier for you to go on their website, buy what you want, sit in your car, and then they bring it out on the side door. This is an example of what you got to do. So if you're just sitting around thinking that I don't have to update nothing, I'm going to stay the way I think, then you don't have a good network yet because you must be able to make your trust and all the things that you create be in the part that is just as good as a corporation. So anything that's non-corporate should also be just as effective as a corporate side. This can be beneficial for you as you learn about new opportunities or potential threats to your business. That's right. Because if you out here just trying to live all like nothing gonna happen to your business, then you're not prepared. You're not preparing yourselves. You're not informing yourselves. You're just thinking that I grab this, I grab these documents, and now my business is running. Documents don't run your business. You run the business documents. It'll always be this way forever. It will never change. It's very important that you all stay up to date, especially if you got, as we say, people jump right into grabbing the EIN. So even if you're at the bank right now, the bank ain't gonna give you not a single dollar if you're not up to date. They want to see you have a phone number, a business phone number. They want to see you have a web page. They want to see that you got a brand. They want to see you actually doing something with this so-called notorious EIN that everybody got. It's not just going to be sitting in our drawer and then we just file a tax return and boom, I got $1 million. I'm going to sit on $1 million and that's it. There's nothing else I do. It doesn't sound right at all, right? Sounds very frivolous. So that's why they say this is a frivolous filing because we can't find that your business is actually showing up in any system. Almost like they're doing research to see if you actually are doing business. Next, number four is have a competitive edge. It means you must be competitive. Make your business stand out. Make it be in the lane that there's nobody too much doing that stuff. And you want to use a trust, and use the trust. Have a strong network that gives you a competitive edge over your competitors if you have competitors. But some of y'all choose industries that you have too many competitors. Just choose something that's simple and easy that people ain't even doing right now. We went over the store. Most of y'all don't even have a store. So create a store. That's not competitive. So many food deserts and people need food. So many places, supplies. He says, when you have a good network, you can have access to information and resources that your competitors may not have. Also, when your business is new, you're constantly looking for ways to expand and reach and build awareness about your brand. Your professional network can help you achieve these goals as easily by introducing you to their contacts. That's right. So that means once you get people that's within your contact or your network, you want to connect with their contacts as well. So that's like a friend introducing another friend. Here we go. How do you build a strong business network? So let's go through these main bullet points right here, but I'll just read this first part. As mentioned before, networking is all about building relationships. So that goes back building your relationship with God, building your relationship with the good things, right? God, good. It's all the same. Building a good relationship. That's what you're doing. So you're building relationships, not just with a woman or just with a lover, but you have to build business relationships with people as well. And that will deal with women, men of all walks of life. These are called relationships. And they don't develop in a day, as they're saying here in the article. It takes constant effort, time, and good strategy. So that means you must constantly be consistent. You must always be able to deal with people in their time and and the strategy has to be on point because, you know, things are changing. Business changes. People, they're coming in or coming out. There's in discouragement, there's encouragement. So you got to keep consistently putting in that effort and that time. So here are a few strategies that can help build your strong business network as we read through them. Number one is leverage social media. Make sure you understand how to use your social media. As we know, like this is a social media. YouTube is a social media. Learn how to use this. Use Instagram. Use your Facebook account. Use all these social medias that what they say is the up-to-date standard. Number two, attend industry events and networking functions. So go to those functions that's around your town. Go to the state events. Go to the national events. Go to the world events. Network. Get to know big time people. Build relationships with other people, even if they're not in the same industry as you, right? Because you may have something that they want to buy from you. As you say, you have something to offer. So as long as you have something to offer, then you'll be able to give them that once you have all those things in place. Look, I like this part. I'm gonna read the second part right here. Don't just wait for someone to walk up and start a conversation. Take the initiative to introduce yourself and let people know about your work. Because nobody knows what you're doing. You just have a trust. People don't know that you have a trust. People don't know what your trust even does. Plus, people don't even use the word trust anymore when they're talking to people. They tell them this is the name of my company, so and so Assets Holdings, or so and so Management. These are names of trust. We don't use the name, we don't put the word trust in our name because we don't want people to realize it's a trust. We want people to know that I'm just like a regular corporation, but I'm not. I'm non-corporate, but I will be able to operate just as good, just as professional, just as um, I should, right? And I need to be taking the initiative, right? Get to know people, talk to them, ask about their businesses, ask about what they have going on. So this is important. You're going to attend these networking functions so that you can strengthen your understanding of how to operate in this corporation. But remember, you're remaining non-corporate the entire time because you are able to use your trust, your living revocable trust that you are operating through your trust instrument. Three, get involved with related organizations. That means if somebody's in the same lane, they're in the same related field. Like for instance, I talked about real estate. I have a lot of partners. I even partner with a few nonprofits. I have a few for profits I'm partnered with, and I'm organized, right? So I want to be around people that are building. I'm building my strong professional network with people who have good, strong professional offers or products or services, whatever it is that they have. I want to get involved with their organization too. And I want them to get involved with my organization. So you become a volunteer sometimes. Sometimes you need to think of this as an entrepreneur and work for free. Don't always think that you're supposed to get paid by the hour for everything. Most of this stuff you need to be learning it so that you can gain more knowledge of how to even understand how to run your business anyway. Because it costs more money for you to try to go pay somebody to help you run your business than for you to just go volunteer and learn all the ins and outs of somebody who's already running a successful business. Four, offer your expertise. This is the last one we'll go over this week because your expertise needs to be known. That you're sitting around every week and you're like, what do I do next? Well, you can work on your trust and work on your documents and everything, but at the same time, you should be building your business because that's the same thing I did when I had my trust. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything what I was going to do, but I had the EIN and I started to build on top of it and I understood what to do as I began to operate in this corporation. So you need to offer your expertise. This is similar to what I'm doing now. I'm offering my expertise. You see, because your expertise is very important for you to help connect with people around you and to show them exactly what you're doing every week or every month or every day. Because I mean, this world, this corporation got people encapsulated in so many different ways. They don't know where to go, what to do, or even where to start. Whether it's through writing articles, that means that you can sit here online and just write an article on your Google Docs or on your Microsoft Word, right? So that's not a lot of work. You're already writing anyway. Giving presentations or teaching classes. Sharing your knowledge through your expertise can help build a strong reputation and attract new contacts. That's right. Don't sit back being silent. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody wants to just know out exactly what's in your head. They can't know unless you're sharing that knowledge, unless you're actually teaching something about what you can offer or what you do. Show us your expertise. Everybody's not good at everything. I don't want to learn how to become a plumber. I'm not a plumber. But guess what? Someone is probably an expert at that. They can probably break it down and give a good teaching class presentation real quick of seeing this is what you do in and out of plumbing. Somebody may be good at driving trucks or freight trucks. You can break it down. This is what I do when I drive a truck. This is what I like. You all have so much content that you can do. There is no excuse. It could be as simple as you making your own breakfast. This is how I make my breakfast every day. This is what I do so I can get through my week. These are expertise. These are things that help people and it builds your reputation so people can know who you are. It's one of the most powerful ways of creating credibility for yourself and your business. And I like how they wrote that because that is absolutely true. Because that is what a trust is about. How you gotta trust. You out here talking about I'm gonna get a trust, I want to file my taxes, but you ain't building no credibility for yourself or even helping with your business so that other people can do these things too. It says by focusing on building a strong business network, you can easily create opportunities for collaboration, allow for the exchange of ideas and information, and provide a forum for developing trust and mutual respect. That's right. So at the end of the day, this is always about developing and creating a trust. And as we know, this is your trust agreement as your trust covenant as we go into getting out of this topic for today. We're talking about how your new trust covenant is your new trust agreement that you should have, instantly connected to the common side. And we know the common side is the side of God, which we say your relationship with your God. And we know God is also good. That means that you guys must have a good relationship with people around you too. That means your potential business partners, your customers must have a good relationship. You must have a good relationship with your business partners. You must have a good relationship with people in your community. These are things that you want to do. This is what you're developing. So this is part of a network. So this is all before y'all even get into the corporation because you're just jumping in the corporation thinking you understand it. You don't understand it because when you're under a corporation, they don't teach you how this works. This doesn't work like that. You have to learn how this works. You'll learn this by your own business side and seeing by being non-corporate so that you can know how to do it. But that's the end of this article. This goes into details of what we see Forbes is saying that even as you have these business trusts, you must learn the importance of a business network and how to build a strong one. You know, it's not out here for you all to just get out here with a business and you don't even know how to run one. So as we go and conclude everything, we know universitytechnicians.com helps us with all the layers and details of all these different things that we need. So always visit directly to the website and log into your account so that we can chat and communicate with you one on one and help you build your business trust. We know that the IRS and all these different things are difficult to deal with and to talk to, but our goal is to give you electronic service so that you can understand how to deal with this on a digital level, which we say we have created something called a digital business network. So always log in here. If you click on members, it'll take you right into your account where you're able to log in. If you want to talk to us, you'll be able to talk here. If you want to join a program, this is how you join a program. These are some of the plans we have available. And we have always so many people that are available in the network that we can connect with, and we can see ourselves as networking with professionals. So university technicians are dedicated professionals who provide essential repairs and services to ensure that your office runs smoothly. Their expertise and prompt assistance helps create a safe and efficient environment for students and staff alike. And as you can see, we scroll down and we have so many different layers of people who are in the network, right? So by this being this way, this allows us to go through and connect with people within the network to provide products and services. Some of us are still working on our business profile. Some of us have updated our business profile, which is great. But this is where we're thinking that people need to start. So first start on yourself, focus on your own profile. Then we're able to get people to the position that that they're supposed to be at. Right. You see some people have their seals or their badges. Some people don't have it yet because they're still working on the profiles. But this is exactly what we're offering. We're offering people to get to the point where they have been able to update themselves in the system. All right, so this is in details. This will be my profile. Even myself, I have a profile, but look at mine. I have all these different layers of my profile. Let's go to mine right quick and let's see where you'll see everything that's going on. And I went through all these different things myself. I decked out my profile, showed you what I'm doing. Um, as you can see, subscribe to my channel for more private studies. I'm a manager at 2025gallery.com. I'm a technical support specialist at University Technicians. I'm also an owner of a store, as you can see, South City Store. Um, I work daily I work daily seeking to master mind, body, and spirit to bring economic stability to my household and the community around me. I am multi-talented, multifaceted, and able to play roles greatly after thorough study. I meant to say thorough. I currently instruct family office management strategy courses for university technicians, beneficiaries, and our member network. So I just went into a quick, uh, which we say a pitch of what I do. Is people say, "What do you do?" This is what I do. So your profile needs to be pitched of what you do in and out so people can see your services and your products. These are all my badges. You see what I'm able to do. I'm a specialist. I have a commissions. I'm operating gallery. I have a living trust. So my living trust is already in place. I have a banker level. I'm already at banker level one. I've accomplished banker level two, and I'm already at banker level three, POA level one as well. These are different things that you all will be able to accomplish as you begin to build a profile through our network, and we're able to refer you to other things. But let's get and close out from this week. I'll go into what I wanted to stay with and go into the main mindset of how the name and how our name is very important as we get out of this situation. Our name is very important as we see ourselves as a business. This business is something that is outside of the corporation first. So this will be the non-corporate side before you all get into the corporation, because they have encapsulated us with the mindset that you are a corporation, but your goal is to come out of the corporation first so that you can become a regular individual or a sole proprietor. So that is all I have this week. If you all are on YouTube, if you have any comments, questions, or shares, feel free to put it in the chat. If not, I think that we've covered mostly everything this week, and we'll come back next week with more details and more answers.